Nobody really anticipated this heading into the Major League Baseball season, but the Toronto Blue Jays did. And if you're running that organization and for everyone in that team, that's all that matters. They were ready for this, they had contingency plans in place, and their starting rotation has been announced for when opening day rolls around in just under a week's time. So we'll break that down and much more on this episode of Answer the Call with Peter Vryonis. Welcome in, everybody, to Answer the Call with Peter Vryonis. I am your host, and today we are going to be talking about the Toronto Blue Jays announcing their starting pitching rotation for the upcoming Major League Baseball season, and I'm really fired up about it. I cannot wait for opening day. It's like Christmas Day for me when that rolls around, but I'm sorry about the little hiatus that I did take. I am back after a week of not posting, so make sure to hit that subscribe button because you won't want to miss the content that we got coming in the next couple of days, whether it is March Madness, whether it is the National Hockey League, Major League Baseball, or even the National Football League, where moves are starting to slow down a little bit, but we should get some news in the few coming days ahead. So make sure to hit that sub button because you won't want to miss what we got coming up on the channel. But let's get into it. Let's not waste any time. Let's take a look at the Blue Jays starting pitching rotation for the season, which is set to get underway in just under a week's time. Now, Kevin Gausman has been announced to get the ball on opening day, which is long overdue in my opinion. He has not had the chance to do so for the Jays in his entire career. And followed by Dylan Cease, Eric Lauer, Cody Ponce, and Max Scherzer. Now, you might be unfamiliar with Cody Ponce. You might be unfamiliar with Eric Lauer, although I find that highly doubtful because of what he was able to accomplish in the World Series and in some crucial spots for the Blue Jays down the stretch of the season. So Eric Lauer, good on him for getting an opportunity to be in the rotation. It seemed as though he would be the odd man out heading into the year, but now with some injuries to Shane Bieber, to Trey Savage, to Jose Barrios, there seems to be a little bit more clarity with the names that they do have at their disposal and readily available. Now, it sucks to lose those guys for any period of time. Don't get me wrong. But if you were on the outside looking in, you had to anticipate that something was up when Shane Bieber decided to opt in pretty much the day after the Jays lost in the World Series to the Los Angeles Dodgers in heartbreaking fashion. So Shane Bieber opts in, even though he probably could have got a nice payday on the open market. So that's sign number one, that maybe he wants to take this season slow, rehab things properly, and go about things from there. And then for Trey Savage, he had never thrown as many innings as he did a season ago, and he was a workhorse leading into the playoffs for the Blue Jays. Now, he made a couple of starts down the stretch, and then in the playoffs, we know the story there. He was thrown into a lot of pressure-packed situations in front of a lot of fans and had never really experienced that in his baseball career, especially not on that stage. So Trey Savage felt like maybe he needed a little bit of a break. Now, the Jose Barrios one, that is the surprise here. I'm not shocked about Savage and Shane Bieber not being on the opening day roster. But I am shocked about Jose Barrios, who looked pretty good in the spring at times, was on the taxi squad for Puerto Rico for the World Baseball Classic, and then wasn't able to go. He was supposed to join them in the quarterfinal, but didn't end up happening. And it sparked some questions. Why is Jose Barrios not a part of this team? He was expected to be there, even though a lot of prominent Major League Baseball players decided to opt out of playing for Puerto Rico due to insurance reasons. And I'm talking about the Francisco Lindors and Carlos Correas of the world. So they were not there. Jose Barrios was not there, who has been a fixture for that Puerto Rican team for a very long time. And it raised some eyebrows when he was not available for them in the quarterfinal. And then we found out that he is going to be starting the season on the IL. Doesn't seem to be anything long-term. Doesn't seem to be anything with the elbow. So there's some good news there. But if we take a look at Cody Ponce, who's going to be filling in, who was maybe on the precipice of being a starting pitcher on this staff. Maybe they were going to go with 6 names, 6 arms in that rotation. He's definitely going to be in there now. And if you take a look at what he did in the spring, very impressive stuff from Cody Ponce. 13 and 2/3 innings pitched, 12 strikeouts, and an ERA under 1. Now, I don't put too much stock into results into spring training. As we know, with George Springer a year ago, he was awful in spring training. He couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat. And then he ends up having an MVP caliber season for the Blue Jays, and the rest is history, right? Like he had one of the best years ever for a 35-year-old player, and that there's something to be said about the work ethic of George Springer and truly just the greatness that he possesses. And then for Max Scherzer, who is a late addition to this Blue Jays staff, signing late, the $3 million contract with a ton of incentives. He might get those incentives now that he is going to be in the rotation. You see him there in the 5th spot. Remains to be seen where exactly the Blue Jays deploy the future Hall of Famer. But if you look at his stats in the spring, 12 and 2/3 of 4 hits, 0 earned runs, 4 walks, and 8 strikeouts. So Max Scherzer clearly showing no signs of slowing down from what he did a year ago and into the playoffs for the Blue Jays. Very impressive stuff, and even more veteran presence that the Jays can rely on. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, Kevin Gausman named the opening day starter for the Blue Jays. So there is some clarity here, and we can kind of start to map out what to expect going forward. But like we'll see, right? Like this is what the Blue Jays are rolling with, and they're without 3 prominent starting pitchers to start the year. Now they have a pretty light schedule in the first 3 series. They got the Vegas Athletics, or the Sacramento Athletics, I could call them. Then they got the Chicago White Sox, and memories escaping me. Let me take a look here, but I know that they got the Athletics, the White Sox, and the Colorado Rockies. That's right. The Blue Jays have the Colorado Rockies on tap as well. So look, we'll see, right? We'll see how it all shakes out. But the Blue Jays are in a decent spot, I think, roster-wise. They do have a lot of prospects that are knocking on the door, too. And maybe with the uncertainty in the rotation, it allows them to get a clearer look at some of those Rule 5 guys that they picked up, or some of those bullpen arms that they may not be sure about. So I think the Jays are in a good spot. I'm pretty happy with where they're at from an outside perspective here. But it's going to be a tough act to follow. They got ever so close to dethroning the almighty Los Angeles Dodgers, and you can't get any closer than that. The next time they get closer, they're going to be hoisting the World Series trophy, as opposed to being the bridesmaids, right? And I think a lot of positive momentum is going to be carried over into this season for the Jays. And a lot of that has to do with some of the acquisitions that they've made. I'm pretty fired up about the Cody Ponce signing. Dylan Cease, of course, he's going to be a workhorse, and he has been. He hasn't missed a start for the last 5 seasons in his time with the Chicago White Sox, as well as the San Diego Padres. So that's a massive get in itself. And then for Cody Ponce, remains to be seen how it translates to the MLB. But in spring training, if we're putting any stock into those results, pretty solid, right? Pretty solid in 13 and 2/3 innings of work. And then in the bullpen, Tyler Rogers, a massive addition for a team that needed a little bit more clarity in that department. You saw them throwing out a lot of starting pitchers in their pursuit of a World Series a year ago in late innings, like Chris Bassett. I don't know if they're going to have to do that this time around. Now, Jeff Hoffman is the key for this team. If he can be better than he was a year ago, if he can be more consistent and not be so prone to giving up the home run ball, then I think the Blue Jays are in a better spot. You could make the argument that they need a legit closer. They need a guy that's thrown in the triple digits, but those guys are not readily available, and I don't know if San Diego's going to be so quick to let go of Mason Miller, who is the best closer in the game right now. So if there's one gripe that I have with this Blue Jays team, it is the fact that maybe their bullpen is a little bit shaky. But bringing in a horse like Tyler Rogers, who can eat a lot of innings, not going to strike many guys out, but he's going to help that unit a ton. And maybe the Blue Jays will be in the market at the deadline, depending on where they're at for a relief pitcher. But let me know in the comments section down below what you think of this starting rotation that was announced today by John Schneider, the manager of the Toronto Blue Jays, courtesy of Hazel May on X. Go check her out, Blue Jays reporter. So Kevin Gausman, Dylan Cease, Eric Lauer, Cody Ponce, and Max Scherzer are going to be the names to look out for in the Blue Jays rotation to open up the season. And we do know that Jose Barrios, Trey Savage, as well as Shane Bieber will open up the season on the injured list. So let me know in the comment section down below what you think of that rotation, and I will see you all in the next video. This was Answer the Call with Peter Vryonis. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you made it this far, and I will see you all in the next one.